Dropped to Sumatra, Manggala Ani, the special force, are the first responder. And this is also, I use a semiotic in which the photograph is actually covering 2/3 of the front page, which is quite dominant. And down, it looks as if there is no fire, but because this is the pet burn, the fire is really deep-seated, which causes for months. So, after that, I want to highlight this photograph. I mean, this photograph, for me, this photograph is very important, and it can be connected. It can be connected to, what is it called? It can be connected to the politician. We can see that the governor, the acting director, was depicted in pristine white clothes, spraying water into the ground, and there was no smoke, and he was not equipped like a firefighter. So he was likely there simply to broadcast a message of concern for suffering and local people. So in effect, such action actually constitute distractions for first responder as well as journalists. Journalists should have like more photograph of more important rather than this stage politician. So we can compare the politicians and the first responder here. And what about female firefighter? This is also interesting because female firefighter is actually a new phenomenon in Indonesia. As you know about the socio-culture of Indonesia, the domestic role is more in Indonesian. So the presence of female firefighter is actually attract the media as it is rare and it's considered to be a pretty girl phenomenon, meaning that pretty women are always well accepted as a good branding. Yeah. And the last part is about actually there are two more. The discourse of anger, because it's about the human-made disaster, then the discourse of anger is become important. This university student make, what is it called, demonstrate, one of the demonstrator here, and he used actually the slang of Indonesian language, diasepin mulu tiap hari kayak ikan selai. Smoke every day, just like smoke fish. So, you know, this signifies that humans should not be treated the same way as that smoke fish is treated. So see, like photograph has a meaning. Yeah. And yeah, some of the, and this is like bakar pembakar, you know, this is also the discourse of anger that, you know, they are very angry because it's already 3 months and it's not stopped. And I think the last thing is, before I conclude, the last thing is about the istisqa prayer, where actually it's constructed an alternative meaning of the disaster. When the fire is not stopped, then the government like give instruction that all pemerintah from the governments to desa, they have to do the istisqa prayer, and they said that the government have already the best thing they do, and now it's in the hand of God. And I will move to the conclusion now. So Rio Post is highlight the state importance by depicting security forces, and then second one, images of local authorities in the burn area suggest that stage appearance for the media consumption rather than active engagement on the ground. And number 3 is image of the street protests were mainly of students and show them frequently in role mediating the anger. And lastly, the photograph indicate that local religious authorities use istisqa prayer to downplay controversy and providing alternative justification for the hardship faced by the affected populations. Well, thank you everyone for your attention, and I'll give the floor again to moderator. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Bu Alice. Give her applause, please. Okay, quite interesting speech and also excellent presentation from you. Yeah, we can learn a lot that photo has a power, how to move, and how to attract people attention. Okay, for you, who have any question, please feel free to write it down in the chat box, and also in the Q&A period, you can directly ask to the speaker at the end. We are moving now to the next speaker. I would like to call Mr. Dr. Senho Nakai from Tokyo Metro University, Japan. Mr. Dr. Senho Nakai, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, in today's agenda, Mr. Henonake will present about the embracing skepticism and fostering critical thinking in politicized communication. And also, Mr. Henonake is an expert in media theory and intercultural communication. He's especially interested in how individuals use their available resources to create rumors, pop song, graffiti, folklore, and so forth. Okay, and you are ready now. Time is yours, Mr. Senho Nakai.
Thank you so much. I'm truly honored to have this opportunity to participate in this wonderful, wonderful event with all of you today. And first and foremost, I'd like to express my gratitude to the organizer of this event, and then especially my former students, Nunik Haryanti, whose kind invitation actually lead me to this remarkable gathering. Thank you so much. I'm genuinely thrilled to be here with all of you today, discussing the communication challenges of public distrust in the contemporary media and the highly politicized natures of communications, as well as the importance of open and then transparent communication. Maybe you haven't realized that Indonesia stands as the remarkable example with the incredible arrays of languages, religions, and then also cultures. But very few places actually understand the wonders and complexities of coexistence in the middle of such a cultural diversity as Indonesia does. So as we move further into this century, I think your country will become a testing ground for humanity to navigate the challenges of communication across the culture. Okay, so before I move into the main themes of my speech, let me just take a moment to introduce myself. I'm a researcher and specializing in formal media and then collective knowledge, like rumors and then folklore. So over the course of my career, I have had the privilege of witnessing fascinating ways in which knowledge is generated and then practiced, not only by the experts, but also by the laypersons, the individual from all walks of life. And that often such a practice and knowledge led to the unexpected and then remarkably productive outcomes. Right? So during the late 90s to the mid 2000s, I conducted research on a group of remarkable individuals who living with HIV in Thailand. During that time, the public ignorance and also the very severe prejudice surrounding the HIV and the AIDS left these people with insufficient support from the society. Yes.
Sorry, before you continue your speech, maybe you have some material on a slide of you. You can share your material in this Zoom.
No, I'm very, very sorry. I don't have, any slide actually. I just, I have only script.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
All right. So, it's not gonna be that long, okay? So in the face of such adversities surrounding HIV and the AIDS in Thailand, the people who are living with HIV actually displayed remarkable degrees of resilience and taking initiatives to create the knowledge. And that lead to very simple, but yet enduring solution to their ordeals. So it's noteworthy that despite encountering oppositions from medical and also the state authorities, who tended to label their effort as irrational and even dangerous, their collective endeavors result in extensive networks of support and the care for their communities. So their determinations and ingenuities played a crucial role in their survival. While they're crafting practical knowledge and the technology from very limited resources available to them. Okay, so me being the witness to this incredible phenomenon in Thailand, I was in awe of the power of human agency and then also the impact of a collective effort in the face of adversity. So my research made me appreciate diverse ways in which lay knowledge and the technology are created in order to navigate complex situations like epidemic, natural disasters, and make a positive change in the society. Okay. So the contemporary communication landscape presents a pressing issue that demand our attentions. At the foremost of this challenge is that the public communication is highly politicized nowadays, and which prevent open and transparent exchange of ideas. So this condition has arisen partially due to the rapid convergence of digital technology and communication, which basically blurs lines between the expert and the layperson. So as a result, our media landscape has undergone profound transformations, so which impacting the media professional, audience, and of course regulatory bodies. So it's completely changed how information is gathered and evaluated and the knowledge is produced. So despite these changes imposed by these media transformations, there's a both positive and the negative aspect to consider. The first, on the positive side, the general public is now more aware of intricate, sometimes chaotic process of knowledge production, recognizing it isn't simply discovered by all-knowing expert or the elite, but this newfound understanding has led to disorientation and also growing anxiety among the public, so which ironically fosters a sense of distrust toward expert and the media authorities. So people have realized that the knowledge is shaped by the diverse stakeholders with conflicting perspectives and then sometimes vested interests. So in the past, this process was largely hidden from public view. So not only to select elite like researchers like us and the policymakers. So ideal notions of unbiased research has given way to recognition that even experts are influenced by the broader political and economic context. And thanks to the proliferations of ICTs and then also alternative media outlets, and the people now have a clear understanding of the dynamics which shape their understanding of the world. So citizens, journalism, and the user-generated contents amplified underrepresented voice and the issues in society as a result. So as we researchers navigate these changing landscapes of media, we must work toward fostering the more transparent and also accountable media environment in which diverse perspectives are presented and equally valued, and then trust can be rebuilt. So embracing the positive aspect while tackling the challenge of media disruption is crucial to forging the more informed, engaged, and unified society. So together, we can seize this opportunity and then shape the futures, where communications become the bridge that connect the people and then ideas with the trust and then better understandings rather than the obstacle that divides and instigate conflict. So by fostering transparency, accountability, and then responsible media practice, we can rebuild public trust and ensure information is conveyed accurately and then ethically. Encouraging diverse perspectives and empowering the citizen participation in shaping the narrative will enrich public discourse and lead to more inclusive, representative media landscapes. So let us work together, promote media literacy and then critical thinking skills, equipping individuals and then understand reliable resources and information in the middle of abundance of digital content around the world. So in this collectivity effort, we can pave the way for the better future, where communication becomes a powerful force for unity and compassion and positive change, and then elevating our society to new heights of knowledge and then empathy and the populations. So together we can save the world, where the communication serves as the unified force and then strengthen the bonds that connect us to better communities. So as I bring my speech to close, I'd like to emphasize that we must resist the temptations to silence opposing voices, which is quite prevalent in this society. So instead, we should create a space for constructive dialogues and then open debate, in which different voices can be heard and then landscapes. It's not only through the exchange of perspective that we can build more informed and engaged citizenry and then create a more just and equitable society. So again, I'd like to express my sincere wishes for the great success of your conference, and may it foster the meaningful discussions and the insight that will guide us toward better futures of understanding, cooperations, and unity in the face of cultural diversities, despite the media disruption. Thank you so much for your kind presence and attention. Thank you.
Dr. Henhonakai, for your valuable thought and ideas. Okay, next, now before Q&A session, we are moving to the next speaker, Professor Dr. Ranjan Hettiaraji from University Colombo, Sri Lanka. Prof, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, before you present your presentation today, I would like to share about your curriculum vitae first. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, all the participants, Professor Ranjan Hettiaraji is a teacher and lecturer at the Mass Media Department of the University of Colombo in Sri Lanka, as well known as IC, As we can see that he was a Fulbright postdoctoral scholar at Virginia Tech University after completing his doctoral degree at Hiroshima University in Japan, the same country with Dr. Senko Nakai, right? Okay, and Professor Ranjan interested in conflict and peace settlement, language concerns in the media, communicology, and other related topics for writing and publication that have been written and published. The audience may search for the article in the internet and some other resources maybe. Okay, now in today's agenda, in today's forum, Prof. Ranjan will present the dynamics of political communication in the era of disruption, case study on Gota Go Home struggle. Okay, Prof. Ranjan, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here and to address you all. Good morning to all of you. Probably should be the afternoon to you all in Jakarta, and so good afternoon to you too. And thank you so much for inviting me to present in this prestigious conference held in Indonesia. Of course, very famous island, Bali, and we are fond of visiting Bali, of course. And we were very impressed with the scenic views that, of course, I could witness at the opening ceremony. And thank you so much. And as this is a very informative conference, it seems that so many presenters had presented from various backgrounds. And today I'm going to speak on the dynamics of political communication in the era of the disruption. So this is a case study, and I'm sure that you are all aware in the recent past in the context of Sri Lanka. So there is a big mishap in the country, and there is a big political revolution happened in the recent past. And so I'm just going to take this event
before continuing speech, maybe would you like to arrange your camera so that we can see you clearly? Okay.
Can't you see me?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Right. Thank you, Prof.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. Political communication, as you know, is the ways and intentions of speakers to influence the political environment. As its core, political communication aims to inform, persuade, mobilize individuals and groups to support or oppose political ideas, policies, candidates, and parties. Many of, as you are aware, due to the 21st century, recent technological advancements such as the development of the internet, social media platforms, streaming services, and mobile technologies, shifts in audience behavior, and the emergence of new platforms and channels for communication, many changes or disruptions have occurred in the traditional media landscape and the way information is produced, distributed, and consumed. This change of media landscape has posed a threat to establish media formats and opening up fresh channels of communication. Therefore, it's a timely need to investigate the dynamics of political communication in the area of disruption. Accordingly, this study addresses the following research problem: how do the strategies of modern political communication impact the political environment? With the research aim to investigate the dynamics of modern political communication in the digital age. The objectives of my studies to study the Gotha Gogama in the context of modern revolution. I should briefly explain what is the Gotha Gogama. Of course, in the meantime, I'm going to discuss that also. Gotha Gogama is a struggle site, as you are maybe aware, that struggle site in Colombo, in Sri Lanka, where people gather to rally, or where people rally against the government to oust the then president of the country. And also, the study, one of the objectives to explore the strategies of modern political communication with related to, of course, the Gotha incident, and to explore the impact of modern political communication. And I analyze the web pages, Facebook chats, newspaper articles, and so on to see the influence of political communication with related to this particular case. Let me introduce the incident very briefly. Gotha Gogama is a protest site that was set up by the protesters to force the president to leave the presidency in order to save the country from corruption and bankruptcy. When we analyze the recent revolutions such as Euromaidan, Arab Spring, Rainbow Revolution, Rose Revolution, there seems to be a similarity between these struggles and goal-based struggle. In the goal-based struggle, this is in the picture what you see is the secretariat of the president. The protesters flashed anti-government slogans on the presidential secretariat building, with security officials attempting to block the projection. The slogans, some English read, "Go home, Gotha," and "No more corruption." The protesters' main demand was the resignation of the president, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, and the key officials from the Rajapaksa family. Despite the involvement of several opposition parties, most protesters considered themselves to be apolitical, with many expressing discontent with the parliamentary opposition. Similar to the Occupy Wall Street movement, Gotha Gama was set up like a small model village, providing basic necessities, including free food, water, and sanitary facilities, as well as limited free emergency medical services. Parallel to the Gotha Gama site, of course, there are several other sites were also set up. So Maina Gogama is another site that was built or set up by these protesters. As it says, the Maina Gogama protest site was set up near the Prime Minister's official residence, inspired both by Gotha Gama and by Mahinda Rajapaksa, who is the then Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. The new nickname, Maina. Maina is a bird, of course, in Sri Lanka, from the protesters. And another site that was named as the Horgo, Go Home Thieves Village, was established by protesters initially led by university students around the Sri Lankan parliament building. The protesters demanded the resignation of the entire parliament, to 225 plus 1 members of the MPs to resign. They demanded the Rajapaksa family return the stolen money. Of course, with the heavy pressure mounted, on May 19th, the Prime Minister announced his resignation. After 2 months passed, on July 9th, so it is said that the 9th was partial in this conflict or the struggle. After 2 months of time, President fled his official residence in Colombo. After large numbers of protesters gathered in his house, demanding his immediate resignation. They were able to break into the residence despite the police barricades and tear gas. Protesters also broke into the presidential secretariat and temple trees. That was the president's house, and gathered around the private residence of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. After the resignation of the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, newly appointed Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe's house also under fire. Wickremesinghe later announced that he was willing to step down from his position. So, when we look at this total incident, the total struggle, the incident was reported using social media by individuals, groups, activists and protesters. So when we look at the whole picture of this incident, so I have following results and discussions, and in the discussion section, in the 17th and 18th centuries, of course 19th also, till 21st century, the revolutions can be identified as classical revolutions. The political and ideological background was different. Accordingly, their slogans were different. Their slogans demanded a system change, economic structural change, regime change. And they had all one objective, one goal that was well recognized by the leadership. But when we come to the 21st century, the political struggles, the 21st century political struggles continue to follow the same procedure, but the structures, ideologies, and objectives became different from the previous occasions, previous classical revolutions. The new revolution was named as color revolution. It's a term often used to describe a series of popular uprisings or mass protests that aim to challenge or overthrow authoritarian regimes, typically in non-Western countries. The term gained popularity in the early 2000s following the success of several such movements in Eastern Europe, such as the Rose Revolution in Georgia 2003, Orange Revolution in Ukraine 2004, and the Tulip Revolution in Kazakhstan 2005. So the internet-based platforms were used heavily to involve in those struggles. The meaning of the revolution was completely changed from classical age to the 21st century era, new era. The social economic background was shaped by the interest and needs of the external forces. The color revolution was the technology used to achieve that target. So when we talk on the color revolutions, special features of the color revolution that include, it's tried to show that non-violent mass protests, acts of civil disobedience, and other types of resistance to impose political change. So that we could, of course, witness throughout these struggles even in Sri Lanka. They usually include large-scale protests, strikes, and other non-violent acts of opposition. From the very beginning of the campaign, it was tried to emphasize that the strike is peaceful. Members of non-political or political parties made up our demonstration, but the reality was, of course, not that. And another feature that was the external support. When we talk on this kind of revolutions, external supposed to be seen, external support supposed to be there much foreign government or non-governmental organizations that favor democracy and human rights appear to have provided overt resistance for color revolutions. in the struggle, Gota Gogama, it was evident that the movement was backed by many foreign nations. So, very good example, on 6 May 2022, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa declared a second state of emergency with the big challenge against the government to make all protesters on the streets, but which was met with international condemnation. UNICEF expressed concern with the report of violence in protests involving children and cited the Convention on the Rights of the Child, which support the right of children and adolescents to express their views. And then the Canadian High Commission to Sri Lanka, David McKinney, expressed surprise at the decision, claiming that Sri Lankans have a right to peaceful protest under democracy, and that it was hard to understand why it was necessary then to declare a state emergency the particular day. So, interfering much to the Sri Lankan president's decision, US Ambassador, the European Union also warned regarding the impose of the curfew, state of emergency. In the United States, several protests were held, including one outside the residence of Gotabaya Rajapaksa's son in Los Angeles, during which protesters demanded his father back to USA. Another took place in Colombia, Missouri. The protest was also held in front of Sri Lankan High Commission in London, England. Other Australian cities such as Perth, Brisbane, and Sydney organized protests as well. And of course, upon Gotabaya Rajapaksa's resignation, of course, fleeing from the country with the heavy pressure from the protesters, he landed in Maldives. But minor protests organized by the Sri Lankan expats living in the Maldives broke out in Mali, urging the government not to provide safe haven for Rajapaksa. So you can see, even Sri Lankans who reside outside are protesting against Gotabaya Rajapaksa to oust from his presidency. Complication the situation further, a diesel ship. You know that there were queues of like 1 kilometer, 1.5 kilometer at that time, queuing people were in queues to get fuel, of course. And at that difficult time, a diesel ship refused to dock at the Colombo harbor, claiming fears of non-payment with shortage of dollars. In a telling indictment on the government, the captain refused to be moved even by the president's guarantees. Basically, we are in a position where the president's words are no longer being trusted abroad. In such a country, it is not surprising for locals to doubt his administration and his promise. So this is the message that, of course, reported and spread all over the country through social media. And the democratic demands, the target of the Gota Gogama protest was the downfall of the authoritarian ruler President Gotabaya. Protesters showed that they frequently battled to defend human rights, civil rights, liberties, and open and accountable government.
Interrupting your speech, Prof. You have 2 minutes more.
Okay, right.
Okay.
So when we talk on how the basic technology was used, of course, so we can see new strategies, so much of new strategies used in sending the political news. So we can see in the era of media disruption, social media platforms have become essential tools for political communication. In the internet, social media platforms, streaming services, and mobile technology has transformed the media landscape, challenging traditional media modes. and creating new forms of media production, distribution, and consumption. The Kuta movement utilized social media channels such as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube to disseminate messages, mobile supporters, and coordinate protesters. These platforms enable real-time communication and the ability to reach a wide audience quickly. So when we look at how they were active in propagating the news, of course, through news, social media, you can see live screens and mobilize supporters, and then so high use of citizen journalism and user-generated content, and to that, of course, they highly influence the people, the country, to rally against the government. Then the hashtag Gota Gogama, Gota must go, these hashtags spread everywhere internationally. And memes and visual content used highly to influence the whole people or the audience in the country to come forward and rally against the government, and so much of memes. Then online activism and crowdsourcing was also highly used to rally people against the government, to oust the president. And of course, when there are news against or any social movement against this movement, so they were very active to subdue those counter with their counter arguments. So you can see, Gota go home, Gota 2022. Against that, we are with Gota, but subdued, reduce the power of that social news spread quickly after 1 or 2 days. In the conclusion, the struggle in Gota Gogam appeared to have been guided by the same principle that had influenced the color revolution and Arab Spring. New activities of the digital age, such as social media use, citizen journalism, etc., were found in political communication. Modern media has created a new world structure where political instability and economic instability seem to appear as common features. This is a threat to the multipolar world structure that is proposed by many communist countries. Of course. That's all. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, bro. Give him a big applause for him. Okay, Prof. Ranjan, as what you present earlier, we have similar memories in Indonesia, particularly in 1998, about the crisis in which President Suharto was compelled to stand down and give power by the people. Many people across the country are taking to the street to voice to voice their aspiration, right? Okay, and following that, Indonesia attempt to recover despite the economic crisis that had happened in that year. Okay, thank you so much, Prof, for your interesting speech. And now we are heading to the last speaker, Mr. Nyarwi Ahmad. Mr. Nyarwi Ahmad, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. How do you do, Mr. Nyarwi, Mas Nyarwi?
Yeah, just a little bit busy. Sorry for apologize for not attending a conference at Bali.
Okay, thank you. Before presenting your presentation, I would like to read about your curriculum vitae. Okay, our last speaker is Mr. Nyarwi Ahmad PhD. He is an associate professor at the Department of Communication Science, Faculty of Social and Political Sciences, Gajah Mada University, Indonesia. He is also a founder and an executive director of Indonesian Presidential Studies, IPS, in Jakarta, a think tank that focuses on Indonesian democracy, politics, political parties, and presidential studies. A strong educational professional with BA from Gajah Mada University, Master of Art University of Indonesia, and lastly, he took a PhD program in Political Communication and Marketing from Barnamah University, United Kingdom. Okay, and now, Mas Nyarwi, maybe you can present about your thought and ideas for roughly 15 minutes. Time is yours, Mas Nyarwi.
Okay. Thank you so much for inviting me at this wonderful session, communication conference. Today, I am going to share a topic related with political communication and marketing, more specifically about political branding. It is part of my project actually. I'm doing a research about political branding in head of the Indonesian 2024 presidential election. So this is still draft. So I hope my idea didn't make all of you guys getting confused because this idea is still evolving. I am still refining this thing. The title of that I want to present today is about political branding. That is move or transform from merely social mediated to algorithmic political branding. I want to see whether presidential candidate merely adopted social mediated political branding, or even they try to develop new genre that I call as algorithmic political branding. So let me check. First of all, we have seen that the people aware that social media right now adopted widely, not merely by presidential candidate, but also most of politicians in Indonesia, and also most of political leaders. They have a social media account, so that Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. The old ones is Facebook, but the new ones, even right now is TikTok. But I did not yet check the TikTok. There's a TikTok account, but what we are talking today, based on my presentation, merely Instagram. Okay, like Prabowo, Hanis, and Ganjar, this public figure right now, widely acknowledged as top three presidential candidate in the next Indonesian presidential election. They have followers more than 5 million. So I think in social media platform, follower more than 5 million is quite big number, because it is natural, not both followers. Okay. We have, I think we have seen that so many leaders across the globe right now adopted social media platform, and they adopt social media platform as a marketing and branding tool to reach the citizen or to communicate with citizen, and also even to develop their own political brand. So so far I have checked, but it is not complete yet. There are actually so many research focusing on political branding, but the research, this research merely focus on mode of branding, especially in marketing, taken by marketer. How the social media deployed by commercial or business institution. There are so many research regarding this, but there are also some that I found, such as the topic discussed regarding algorithmic branding. But this is not yet focused on algorithmic political branding. And there is also no research regarding how form of political branding evolved from social mediated to algorithmic political branding. Existing literature, for example, like a political marketing scholar, such as Page, Newman, and so on, they mainly focus on offering concepts such as political branding, the element of branding, and mode of political branding strategy. But none of them give us new framework or even new knowledge regarding how to understand type of political branding strategy. Could be developed by Indonesian political actor. I think the noise there.
For the committee, please turn mute. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Yeah. There is a new framework. There isn't new framework, or there isn't sufficient conceptual framework regarding that could allow us to understand what type of political branding strategy developed by Indonesian political actor, or the element of branding that could be adopted by Indonesian political actor, especially within the context of the election. That's why I'm trying to to highlight this theme as an important topic that we need to discuss. The research question that I want to address actually based on these two things. The first one, what type of political branding strategy adopted by Indonesian presidential candidate who are running for Indonesian 2024 election, business election, and also what kind of element that constitute political brand they adopted when they develop these political branding strategies. And yeah, when we are talking about brand, there are so many definition or conceptualization regarding brand. I adopted this concept based on EMA, American Marketing Association, and also based on the idea of Dahlan Lineker. He is my supervisor when I did my PhD degree in Bournemouth University in UK. Brand actually relate with some element like this, like symbol, name, term, or design, or combination of those things. They are being recognized as a brand. So I also consider brand as those things, include those elements. Brand is, according to Lilac, a symbolic entity. It includes name, logo, and those things being used to identify the manufacturer or service provider. Meaning that when people recognize or hear about brand, they easily simply notice that this brand will offer a particular service or give them a particular product or thing that makes them comfort or better enjoy on anything. And it's include logo, symbol that could be developed by any organization or actor or entity. I adopt the concept of political branding from the idea of Pitts and Newman. Actually, political branding, it is part of subject or research area in political marketing. So, I think it started from 2015 when Journal of Political Marketing, where in this journal community, I serve as a reviewer as well. 2015 they start discussing about political branding, and 2020, 5 years later, they also discussing about issue related political branding. According to political marketing perspective, actually political branding can also be studied by political communication scholar or even marketing scholar as well. But in my field, especially from political marketing, branding is a very wonderful topic because when we are talking about political product, actually the value of the product is depend on branding or brand, the value of the brand. And what kind of political brand? According to Pitch and Newman, we can consider anything, political entity like political party, pressure group, movement, politician, candidate, and campaign, form of campaign or anything, product of campaign can also be labeled as a political brand as well. But the problem here, actually, there is no solid solid literature that could give us complete or comprehensive understanding regarding political brand. I have read some of the literature based on political marketing concepts, especially or political marketing literature. There is one of the a very important question that really hard to answer. I start from ontological issue, which is a political brain as what. This is the key thing that we need to acknowledge. We can consider political brain as complicated multi-layer entity. Some of the extreme literature define or following this argument. The second one, political brain as trinity of political element. I will detail those things later. And then a political brain as political representation and political brain as representation of political brain personality and identity. I will adopt the third and the fourth argument. A political brain as complicated and multi-layer entity. Actually, when we are going to analyze political brain, there are multi-layer elements that we need to evaluate. We cannot merely focus on the name of the party, for example, or like this is the corporate brand, but also this is also some candidate politician brand as well, and even policy or movement or campaign taken by or conducted organized by politician or candidate. This thing also political brand, and those things related to each other. So that's why when we are talking about political brand, sometimes political party already noticeable the importance of developing political brand, corporate political brand, but sometimes politicians also did not really understand how this party developing this brand and where the brand is, the value of the brand actually being defined, or this thing actually, and how this related with the policy, for example, proposed by political party. In Indonesia, political policy quite hard because party sometimes not consistent with the ideology of the party. Political policy not really consistent with the political ideology. So that's why it's quite hard to develop a consistent and systematic political branding in terms of corporate brand for the party. And most of the research focus on corporate brand, especially political party. And those things, we could find this trend when the reading literature extracted or from the data or support analyzed based on the data from democratic countries, which is characterized by party-centric democracy, such as in UK. Political party, they are central element of politics. In Indonesia, political party, I think not very strong in terms of political party taking place as a key player in politics. There is a leader or even top leader of the party or prominent politician in the party that's much more visible than the political party. This is the trinity of political brand. This idea comes from Pitch and Newman. This author proposed political brand actually include party brand, then party leaders brands, and also policy brands. Those things actually we could assess political brand based on political party. I mean, focus on political party. We could also focus on leader of party and also policy. And the research regarding this, I think the most important, and I mean the literature that we are really easy to find and read and assess political brand about the party brand. Some research focus on the party leader and very little number of the paper focus on policy brand. In Indonesia, I think policy brand is one of the things that I think underexplored. So I perhaps some of you, if you are interested to delve deeper into this topic, I think it's quite important. I mean, the chance to be published in international journal will be larger. Political brand. I adopt the concept political brand as political representation. This thing include artifacts, symbol, name, sentiment, policy, and anything related with political represented through symbol. or through visualization. And then a component of the brand include identification and also differentiation. And we could assess political branding as the application of brand concept. So I simply adopt this thing because when we are talking about the brand, there will be concept that we are going to use, like brand identity, brand personality, anything. Then we most of those concepts come from marketing concept actually. Okay. In this paper, I also assessed how many times they have left.
3 minutes more.
Wow, very short.
Okay,
Okay, I
sorry.
jump to the key finding. The key concept that I'm going to apply in my research is about mode of political branding. It includes three things: personal political brand, political co-branding. Those things actually social mediated political brand. Political co-brand, including co-branding based on his or her party brand and personal brand as candidate. And this is four type. You could read it. I could explain because in detail because the time is very limited. And then algorithmic political branding. And then we have also the brand personality based on the idea of Hegel. So this is the one, two, three, four, five element. And this is the indicator: sincerity, meaning, down to earth, honest, and so on. Excitement, daring, spirited, imaginative, and so on. This is the concept come from Aker. Aker is one of the reference adopted in marketing literature. And then brand identity, personal character. This four thing in this four element that could be adopted, analyzed. Candidate as competent, as warm, so sociable candidate, empathetic, and trustable. And then this is a leadership character. We could categorize candidate based on whether the candidate try to visualize him or herself as visionary, coaching, affiliative, and so on. And then this is the political marketing intelligent research from traditional and digital marketing. I adopt the concept of this is part of the political branding strategy. Based on the perspective, political marketing perspective, commonly candidate adopt or doing market intelligence, whether digital or traditional, and then try to assess political market and political market arena, especially media, social media, and then try to defining, developing a political product. This is the proposition or assumption actually, and then making segmentation, targeting, and positioning on trusting. Based on this, they could develop political branding strategy. Personal, co-branding, and algorithmic, three types, and then also consider element of political branding to develop branding strategy, brand personality, identity, personal character. And this is the last. This topic actually being discussed as part of my dissertation, but I did it with the data from 2014, not 2024, but 14. This is the algorithmic political branding strategy. The main idea come from, the main thing, the base of the algorithm political branding strategy is market intelligence data research based on, especially from digital market research, online media, social media monitoring, and big data. And I assume that those candidates actually doing this because there are so many consultant software in getting this data. And then they could manage or develop personal branding management and brand personality management, brand data, and brand personal leadership character. This is, for example, that I did with team assess the Instagram of Anis. We assess the Instagram. Anis, since he being nominated as presidential candidate by Nasdem Party, 3 October 2000, and total number of posted material more than 40 for 14 100 item, and then total post analyzed in this paper or this presentation merely 50 item. And most of this is the type of content, picture and reel. Most of this content picture. And then this is the example how Anis try to follower 1.9 million follower. He tried to question himself. This is part of the co-branding strategy actually. Meta Dharma, meaning that Anis also co-branding with some of journalists, neo-journalists, and because media is also part of political market actually. I'm little bit more quickly. And this is also example from kata data and traditional leader, I mean cultural leader, Anam Suroto, is also part of the co-branding strategy. I am not telling the detail of the content because we actually we are also doing good detailed making analysis in detail regarding the content as well. But in this season, I am just skipping. Then Anis, okay, let's go to Ganjar. Ganjar. This is Ganjar. We analyzed the contents in 21 April 2020, and then type of Instagram you could check. And then also this type of co-branding, and this is also official dress like T-shirt, anything making by Ganjar, hitam and putih, white and black, is like official for the campaign. And he said even those designed by Jokowi, President Jokowi. This Prabowo, we analyzed starting from 23 January 2020, 23. And then this is one of the findings I want to highlight. Those things being analyzed through quantitative content analysis, and we could assess mood of political branding. For example, based on 50 items, personal brand, Anies Baswedan focus on personal brand, and just 78% doing personal political brand, and 20%, 22% political co-brand. And Ganjar Pranowo quite balanced, and Prabowo Subianto political co-branding quite larger strategy rather than personal political branding. This is an example. And then political co-branding of Anies, we are trying to assess the detail co-branding party, party and so on. You could read it. And then
we are so sorry that the time is up.
Okay, just 2 minutes. Just
Conclude.
2 minutes.
You
Yes.
can conclude your presentation.
Personal political brand like this, personality, sincerity, excitement, competence, sophistication, rashness. We could see it, how the candidate overall focus on sincerity because they try to show how they very care to the society and plus most of them try to show they are very warm, unsociable, especially Prabowo Subianto quite larger as compared to Ganjar and Anies. This is character of leadership, like Islamic populist leader, secular nationalist, and so on. We could see, for example, Anies Baswedan try to show himself as transformational leader because Anies talk too much about this thing. And then Islamic populist leader, Ganjar Pranowo, even Ganjar as try to show, because Ganjar is nationalist, but try to show himself as like this. So this is the leadership style, how they try to brand their self in terms of type of leadership or image of him or herself, himself as a leader in this regard. Thank you for your attention, guys.
Okay, thank you so much. Give applause to Mas Nyarwi. Okay, Mas Nyarwi, thank you so much for your thoughts and ideas. We hope, hopefully, that the research will be done soon and will result in something useful for the larger community. Okay, maybe one question. Do you mind to answer my question? Based on the data you've shown, who has the highest chance of becoming president Indonesia?
Based on this current trustable survey data, I think we have already known that this is very competitive, very high competition between Ganjar and Prabowo.
Okay.
But we cannot predict right now because I think the footer really forwarding. Loyal footer of the candidate more or less just 10%, 10 and 15%. I also did survey, national survey, 4 times, so that's why I could also suggest the trend, but it's quite hard. If, for example, it depends on the second round actually. Who can come up in the second round? For example, if in the second round of election, Ganjar and Prabowo come up as the candidate, the result will be different if the Anies Baswedan also succeed for the second round, going to the second round. So this is the example how it's quite hard right now to predict or to assess with the right precision who can be the winner in this election.
Okay, siap. Thank you, Mas Nyarwi, for your answer. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving to the Q&A session, but I'm so sorry, we just have a limited time, maybe 10 up to 15 minutes to discuss in this session. Maybe anyone who wanna ask directly to the speaker before I read out some of questions that we receive? Any one of you? Okay, we have some question we've received. Okay, sorry, wait a minute. Okay, for Bu Elis, the question for you is addressed to you. What is the lacking in today's journalists? What is the lack for our journalists in today's era? What should the media do in order to convey the accurate information? So maybe for address to the all speaker, Prof. Ranjan, Prof. Senhao, and also maybe Mas Nyarwi too. How is media management in on country? You can share about lesson learned in your own country. Is your country, your current media making a constructive contribution to society or even causing societal division? What should be done first to reorganize our media or our media management or both public literacy in order to correctly choose the information? Okay, those question addressed to the all speakers. Okay, maybe Bu Elis. Okay, no problem.
Thank you. Yeah, it's such important questions. I didn't have any chance yet to explain, but to answer the questions, actually in Indonesia we don't have any journalism ethics related to the disaster images. What we have is the journalism ethic in general, which is not really mentions about which one images are allowed to be published or which one are not allowed to be published. The only guideline, the general guidance from there is only, for example, first, tidak boleh menampilkan gambar yang berdarah-darah. So we are not supposed to publish the images of, the victim with the blood. But also there is another thing that we need to respect to the privacy. And what to do is actually for example, Mas Ahmad Arif from a senior journalist in Kompas, who already come up with the disaster journalism, and he wrote a book about disaster journalism. And I think if the journalists, have a good understanding of the literacy about the disaster itself, with all the empathy, for example, I think also. It can help, even though it's not really an easy task, because it will also depend on the ownership of the media, and also and also the internal guidelines, the culture of the media itself. Yeah, I think the key is the understanding of the disaster journalism itself. Thank you, Mr. Ahmad.
Okay, thank you, Bu Elis, for your answer. Okay, next to Prof. Ranjan.
Yeah, of course. This is an era of disruption, as you know, and traditional landscape of media so already changed with the new introductions of new technological introductions, especially social media, Instagram, and all sort of technological devices, of course, mobile journalism and so on. So all are journalists now. Citizens are journalists. And it's very difficult today to have certain constraints, basically with the news, so with the information, of course, published on social media. Of course, in the context of Sri Lanka, we are going to have certain conditions and acts related to, of course, social media, but it seems that it's quite difficult for us to impose any constraints or rules or particular acts that can, of course, be used to have some certain punishments or to go against those who come with those kind of humiliation kind of reports and so on. So today, because the mobile is with everybody's hands, and so they can just do anything that they want, they can publish anything that they want, so there is no limit in that kind of. So fake news and misinformation is spreading pretty fast in the today's context, and it is even with that what I presented today. So at that time we were horrified certain times with certain of course, not non-certified news, but they came as very true news, and so we were stunned with certain news, but there was no certain rules so acts to prevent such happening. So anyway, within the social media environment, it's quite difficult, but it's only thing that we can do is self-constraint, self-discipline. Ethics are there, and ethics cannot be considered as rules. So we should make people aware of the danger and threat that can, of course, cause the threat to the society when there is such kind of course, misinformation published and spread in the society. And there are so many such cases, humiliating to personal characters. There are so many things happening, but as there are no such rules in force to curtail such things at the moment, we are in a bit of doubt mind how we can of course control this kind of a situation. So this is what we have experienced in the context of Sri Lanka.
Yes, okay, thank you, Mr. Okay, Prof. Senhonakai.
All right, thank you. So as a researcher, I believe that I think in the current situations of media environment, many of the issues actually we cannot talk, freely, because the mainstream media is often dictated by the corporate interest, and then also oftentimes the political authorities, they intervene the free flows of informations and the transparencies of information. So actually, if we talk about like misinformation and fake news, if you take a very close look at these situations, actually the difference in the fact and the fake news can be it's not so clear cut. I give you some examples, like for example, the folklore. I think the scientists in the political authorities, they rarely pay attention to those the traditional media. But like some of the folklore that we can find in the Asian countries, including Japan, they actually, is the long-term memories, maybe the long-term memories of maybe once in 100 years disasters. So they preserve those local memories and they try to pass those memories down to the next generations. In this way, they try to prevent the tragedies from repeated, in some areas. So But if the commercial media or the scientific-oriented researchers, they are quite outright dismissive about those traditional media, or even the more layman's media, like for example, the rumors. They are quite dismissive about that. But actually, if you take a closer look at it, there are lots of useful informations we can find, actually we can use in order to communicate with the public more efficiently. So that's my, the take on, what we should actually, the media expert is supposed to do to encourage the society to have more equitable societies. Thank you.
Siap. Thank you, Professor Hoinekai. Okay, lastly, Professor Nyarwi Ahmad.
Could you repeat again?
Okay, what I highlight before that what should be done first to reorganize our media management or boost public literacy in order to correctly choose the information.
Yeah, when we are talking about media management, actually it depends on internal and external organization of media. And also, I mean, the internal thing is each media have their own style and orientation as well when they are managing or doing business, and including adopting type of journalism. Right now, we have seen that so many media, mainstream media, actually they are developing SEO journalism. They are also try to get so many attention by using clickbait journalism. So these things sometimes reduce the quality of journalism as well, and also in terms of agenda setting, how they manage the agenda setting, and if the media try merely sharing the information that not qualified and even not credible, this is a problem. Because actually this information coming from the media actually triggered by the media itself, not by citizen, for example. And the problem right now, if this media literacy, citizens' media literacy is quite low, they are very easy to be targeted by disinformation content or even the propaganda machine developed by organized by a particular group of society or actor. And actually we could rely on Indonesian Press Council, but the problem, even Indonesian Press Council released so many regulations regarding media ethics and regulation, or even Indonesian Broadcasting Commission as well also have some instrument or tool to try to manage the content of the Indonesian broadcasting media. It's quite difficult for them to not to control, but to minimize or to guarantee that the content published by the media really the healthy content, not content that really harm the citizen. Yeah, we could, in this regard, we could develop three approaches. The first one is Indonesian Broadcasting Commission and Indonesian Press Council should develop such instrument that's really workable to minimize or even to protect citizens from being targeted by disinformation content or the content that really not appropriate and for society. And then the second one also association of the media organization and also association of Indonesian journalists, for example, or journalists, also to make sure that they have power to make the media not being merely follow the viral thing. But it is this is the controversy. I mean, this is conflict interest in media organization between the two orientations between the business interest and also public interest of the media. In reality, the public interest of media, I mean, it's not visible. Merely the business interest are more dominant than the public interest. And then the three approach or the third approach is empowering citizens by organizing media literacy education and try how to the citizens protect themselves and their community from being targeted by the group of the political actor or institution or even the people that they are spreading so many information that really harm the society, or even making in politics, like making political polarization getting worse. I think this three approach, at least three approach that we could think to manage those issues.
Okay, siap. Thank you, Professor Nyarwi, for your answer. And I do believe that there is still a lot of question in all the audience, but unfortunately, we are so sorry because we have limited of time, so we need to end the discussion session by now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is all our agenda today. Hopefully, okay, give big applause to the all presenter, invited speaker today, and all, of course, the audience for their valuable contribution in today's forum. Okay, would you mind to turn on the camera? Okay, for our documentation, please. Okay, for the committee, ready to take a picture together? Okay. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, keep smile. Okay, thank you. Once again, big applause to all invited speaker today. Yeah, I'm incredibly delighted that all of you could come to this event, and also many thanks to all of the committee and also invited speaker in this forum. I apologize for any mistakes in guiding this agenda. Thank you so much and see you again in our next agenda. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and cheerio. Terima kasih banyak semuanya. Terima kasih Prof. Ranjan, terima kasih Prof. Senhodakai, terima kasih Prof. Nyarwi Ahmad, terima kasih Prof. Elis, dan semua peserta semua. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and we enjoyed the content of your. Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Real pleasure. So we'll meet again soon.
Yeah, inshallah soon.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you all, guys. Senjo, Prof. Ranjan, and also Prof. Alice.
Yeah, we are in the same field, so we may meet soon.
Recording stopped.
Bye.